Happy Tuesday, friends, and welcome to Carmen Live with Friends. And today, my friend is Miss Daniela Behler with Engaging Social Media, and my fellow ambassador and friend in kindness. And I just think the world of you. So, Miss Daniela, welcome, and thank you for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me, Carmen. I feel the same about you. I must admit, I had seen you several times, and spent many occasions with you. But until we worked the tent together at Biketoberfest, I never really got any one-on-one time with you, and that was just a great time. I just adore you. So, thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. We had a good time.
We did.
Was that this year?
Yeah.
This last year.
Yeah.
But we knew each other before then. I'm just trying to think of, because I think the first time you and I connected, like face to face, was at my business, my ribbon cutting in August of 2017. And then I
Probably.
knew you at some events.
Mm-hmm.
Really, like you said, we've been in the same room, but sometimes you're just busy working.
Sure.
And you don't get a moment to connect. I just can't believe that was like last year.
I know, it's weird. We've had some great times together, and we've had some really great conversations, but we've never just kind of hung out. So that was cool. I liked it. It was great.
That was really fun. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I want to say, so that day it was raining, and we didn't think we were going to get out there, but then we both were like, you know what, let's just go out there anyways. And I'm so glad that we did. And of course,
really cool people.
Yeah, we did. So I appreciate my time with you, especially that time. But so our connection is always the Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce. I love saying that because people all the time are like, does the chamber model work? And to me, I'm a chamber girl. So I believe that it works. I'm a good example that it works, especially for my business. It's the majority of the marketing that we do is through the Chamber of Commerce. And we're members of several different organizations. But you and I are both members of the Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're both ambassadors there. And we're both pretty involved. So we met there. Tell me a little bit about your business first and your involvement with.
Okay, so I started my business in 2013. It was a brand new career for me. I was a hairdresser for 27 some odd years ish, and when I came up to Palm Coast, I really didn't want to get back into the hair industry. I wanted to try something different. What did I know how to do? I knew how to use social media. It was just really getting ramped up then. And in 2013, people were really recognizing, of course, the bigger businesses, but the small businesses were just learning that, hey, maybe this is something that would benefit my business if I got a business market plan and started using social media. The problem is nobody knew how to really do it. And so I just kind of stepped right into a need and met some really great people. And I ended up joining the Daytona Regional Chamber in 2015. And it was the best decision I've ever made. The guidance that I've gotten from colleagues, the opportunities I've had to learn all different aspects of business in general, from different programs I've attended and just people that I've met, and spending time doing these like one-on-ones. We're doing a virtual one-on-one, but when we just meet for a cup of coffee, and I've made so many connections, and my business has grown so much, and in a completely different direction than it was at the time that I joined the chamber. So I just can't say enough about joining the chamber. You and I were speaking just briefly before we started tonight that, I've learned even more about the chamber since we've had the safe at home orders from the governor, and we all were working from home. And that's when I really got to see kind of what everybody does. And I do the social media marketing for the chamber. Sorry about that. If I am I am thrilled to do their social media. And so I'm in constant contact with the staff just during all of this. Like I said, just learning what they do and learning how it's done and learning what it takes to get something done. And it's just amazing the work that the chamber, the entire chamber, every aspect of the chamber does for our community as far as, our business support, commerce, the advocacy on the business on our behalf to make sure that we have, the best opportunities to be as successful as possible. It's really an amazing organization. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. With us being with a franchise, a lot of our advocacy for small business comes from our franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But what I loved about this regional chamber, because I've worked for a chamber and I've been part of chambers before, is really how ahead of the game they are. I mean, of course, they're 4-star accredited, right? So it makes sense that they're that caliber of an organization. But man, if I was a small business that didn't have the International Franchise Association,
Mm-hmm.
working on my behalf for, some of those, for some of that advocacy stuff, I'd be all over the chamber when it comes to that. And of course, I was getting information from both sides, and it was lining up perfectly. So yes, they did a great job. Nancy and her team are amazing. And of course, it doesn't surprise me that you're part of their team doing their social media. It's okay.
Sorry, the dog's barking. Well, and that in and of itself, I joined the chamber. I never dreamt that this opportunity would have come, would have presented itself. I've been working with them since I guess it was a year ago. I think July maybe is my anniversary. June, May. I'm not sure. It was so fun, but just to have the opportunity to do this, like I said, I had to start all over again. I had to find what I was going to do, what I was good at. I as a hairdresser, I was always looking for the educational part of it. I always wanted to learn more. I got involved in teaching. I worked with Redken for a while and Paul Mitchell for a while. And I have always enjoyed like the teaching, the learning teaching aspect of anything I've been involved in. And so when this, presented itself after I had, my business was up and running and I was teaching, I provided workshops and things like that for small business owners to teach them how to use social media. And then, to see it grow from that to here I am working working with the most amazing group of people. And I call that the entire chamber, members included. I mean, just amazing people that I've met that do awesome things. And I just couldn't be prouder. So I'm happy for where I am.
That's right awesome. Now. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks.
So one of the things that I would say definitely connected us prior to that sit down in that tent you're just a very positive person. And I'm very much a positive mental attitude, positive words, kindness person. My mom, who is super humble, I'm trying to get her on one of these things and she won't. She's super humble. She always said, the most important gift that you can give somebody else is kindness. And she's a great example of kindness. And oftentimes it is very hard, even when people are nice, to find someone that is genuinely kind. And it was just one of those things that I was like, I gravitated to you. And I've heard some other people on here say, oh, and Daniela, she's so nice at the chamber, and it's so true. Like, so when a new member joins and you come to a ribbon cutting, and of course you still are the chair of the ambassadors, and you're the first person to say hello and greet them and genuinely just share your kindness, and you do that on social media so well. It just, I don't know, it just made me like want to be close to you. So I think I would always comment on your stuff because I just thought, I was like, oh, I love this post. And then I think I started tagging you on stuff, and you tagged me
Mhm.
on stuff throughout the years that I've been here. It's going to be year 3, by the way. I can't believe I've been here for 3 years.
I know, 3 years. That did fly.
It did
Yeah,
fly.
I will just say that, I mean, I might be kind of an old soul my whole life, but I just really have always tried to treat people with kindness. I guess maybe my parents were like that. They were always helping people. They were always making me aware of opportunities to help or make better. They set a great example. I've tried to do the same with my kids. So I thank you for recognizing that. One of the things that I'm most proud of and worked the hardest on to see come to fruition was my kids when they were in school. You know, we all went to school. We all got called names. We all got, you know, that's part of growing up. That's to me not bullying. Bullying is when I mean, it's literally a bully that says if you don't do this, this is going to happen to you kind of situation. To be very intense, aggressive bullying is what I really identify as bullying. And my youngest daughter experienced that when she was in elementary school, and she came home and she said, you know, that this had happened today at school, and the girl said if I didn't do it, she wouldn't be my friend. So we talked about it, and she decided that she was being bullied. So she also decided that she was going to go to school the next day and tell the girl, I'm not doing it. I don't care if you're not my friend, and you're a bully and you bully all of it. So she called her out, you know, and so, you know, okay, fingers crossed and said a prayer that would be, you know, that would work out for her. And it did. And she, you know, it was a great resolve to what could potentially have been, you know, a bad situation. Anyway, so she kind of carried that on throughout her school. She started sticking up for the underdog and noticing when things were maybe tilted a little unfair, and she would do her part to make people feel included and make sure that people weren't being ignored and things like that. And so we saw on Ellen DeGeneres, there was a piece about this kid that had recognized that there were lonely kids at his school. So he came up with this buddy bench. And a buddy bench is literally a bench in the playground area that kids go to when they need a friend, when they need somebody to play with, when they don't feel like any, you know, that they have anybody. And so we fell in love with that. We thought that that was the greatest thing ever. And over time, we decided that we wanted to get buddy benches for our community. And when the school shooting happened down in South Florida, and that was, I mean, I have a granddaughter that was in school, that's in school, and my youngest daughter was still in school. So not her daughter. My oldest daughter's daughter was my granddaughter. Anyway, so I had 2 young kids in school, and it shook me to think. It really shook me. And so I was sharing this with my friend Allison Miller, who is also a chamber member, and she is with the Early Learning Coalition of Flagler and Volusia County. And if you don't know anything about that organization, please check it out. They help kids get ready for school. They do the VPK and many other services that they provide our youth and our communities, and they are phenomenal, and I wholeheartedly support them. But when I shared this with Allison, and she was just like, wow, that sounds amazing. And she took it back to the office and shared it with her people. And they said, you know what, why don't we like join in on that and see if we can't, I had no idea how to get it going. I didn't know how you would even get a buddy bench on a school playground. And over, I guess it took about 10 months or so, but they decided that they would kind of spearhead this project, and they applied for it and received grants to get the buddy benches. I believe they've placed 8 so far. You can go on their website, Early Learning Coalition, volusiaflagler.org, but I think it's all the initials. Anyway, but they do have it on their website, and you can see the pictures of the benches on the school ground, and they do have some on the in some public parks, and they have some at their VPK locations. So it's just, the whole idea behind that. I went to the Flagler County School Board as well and talked to them, as well as Volusia, and they understood and wanted the program and support the program. But one of the superintendents, I believe it was in Flagler, said, this really, you have to understand, this is a social movement. This isn't something that just putting a bench on a playground, because he saw like the desperate in me in wanting this to heal, wanting this to help our kids love one another and care about each other and learn about empathy and things like that sometimes they miss. And so he said to me, it's going to take a while for this to happen. And my daughter was with me, and she said, but it's got to start. So you have to start it. It may not be something that we see the results of tomorrow, but you have to start it, because we realize that empathy is something, especially since the invention, I don't have mine near me right now, but of the cell phone. Our kids see mom and dad, sister, brother, aunt, grandma, grandpa at this point, all on that rectangle. And as participants, I'm one too, of on social media and all the different platforms and technology that you can use. So many times we pour all of that love and affection and empathy and compassion into these posts, and we're sharing, we're commenting, we're supporting a cause. But what's happening is our children, all they see is that reflection of the blue. They don't see what you're doing, unless you purposefully say, look at this situation and here's what I'm doing about it. And most people just don't. I'm not saying it to be judgy. I am guilty of it too. I think it took like a self-recognizing that I was doing that. But that is a key element that for the past many years has become less and less apparent and visible to our children. People just don't go out and buy I hope you're cheer up cards anymore, because I can send you a text, I can do a TikTok, I can Snapchat you, whatever, right? So in this buddy bench thing, the idea of teaching kids what a buddy bench is actually opening up the conversation for kindness and caring and awareness. So that's just an amazing thing. And to even have just played the part of putting the idea in somebody's head that knew what to do with it helps me sleep at night.
And, it's so relevant even, because we're talking about kids, but we're living in a time where we use social media to really just kind of overshare, right, our emotions, to the point where we are really kind of being bullies online, because we, really, if you think about, I have almost 2,000 friends on my social media, and I may say something that I'm super passionate about, and then I've got 10 people that are like, girl, you're wrong, and now it starts this whole thing I'm guilty of that. And I've really have tried really since I moved here, I really kind of just focused on peace and just being all the, I kind of felt like I was going back to fifth grade, starting all over again in a new community, and just
Right, right.
about what were the best things of myself, which were the reflections of my family. And, do you really need to have that? Do you really need to say some of those things? We need a lot of blue benches. I feel like all over our country right now. So, kindness is definitely a message that I would love to continue for us to push as a community, and doing something like that. What it says is, hey, I'm feeling bullied. My feelings are hurt, and we may not agree, but I need someone to hold my hand right now. So I love that. I think that's so awesome. And, with right now with COVID-19, we can't hug and hold hands, but there is that missing from that interaction on social media. Now, obviously, this is what you do, right? It's your livelihood, and I don't see us ever getting away from this platform that has provided for our businesses to really just touch the masses. I can touch, 5,000 people on social media with one post in less than 30 days.
Right.
Almost nothing. So it's like, it's here to stay, right? It's how we use it, which will determine whether or not it's a successful tool in my eyes. And I'm a big social media buff. I mean, I'm on it all the time.
I just think that, most of the people that I know, when I sit down and have a conversation about current events, whether it's right now or whether it, was a year ago, because a year ago we had stuff too. We just can't remember it now because we're having this. And a year from now, we'll have something else. And, I mean, that's just how it is. But when I talk to most, when I talk to most people, they don't like it either. They don't like the ugliness and rude comments and rude, hurtful things that they see on social media. And a lot of people, part of my workshop is for social media workshop is that I express to folks that, social media, when you use it for your business and you share your business onto your personal, you've got that connection. You're not hiding anymore. So when you post something, first of all, on your business page, never politics, religion, never anything like that on your social media page, unless it is something that you would say to every potential client walking in your door. I wouldn't post it. But when you post it, when you're posting and people are making these connections, you're meeting on LinkedIn, Snapchat, Zooming, now because maybe I'm not on any social media, but I do a Zoom meeting. And then, because that's new for me because I've got the stay at home order. Now I'm on a Zoom meeting. Everybody's talking about, so maybe I get on social media, I start making friends. I find out FASTSIGNS, and then all of a sudden you put out something like totally crazy. And I've made that connection. That's damaging to your business. So a lot of people will argue with me and tell me, well, on my business page, I never talk about anything, but my personal is my personal. No, it really isn't. At this point, please, everybody just realize there isn't any, if it's on this box, if it's on, it's not personal. It's never going to be personal. That's the personal is exactly that. Personal. It's in person, and it's conversations and things like that. It's not memes. It's not comments. It's not things like that. That's and it's really hard. I spend a lot of time on social media, and I certainly have my opinions and I have my feelings, and sometimes, but I just got to scroll. You just got to scroll. So that's what I took a workshop myself, and that's what they said, keep scrolling. So that's what I always tell myself, just keep scrolling, because there's a Daisy or a cat video coming up next.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, for sure. Like if you gave 3 etiquette advice, one being don't post anything that is political. I would say don't post anything that you wouldn't say to every client that walks in the door. That's perfect.
Right.
I mean, that's it.
Right.
I mean, that pretty much covers all your social media etiquette.
Yeah, it really does.
That one thing.
Yep.
That's very, yeah. So that's I'm jotting that one down. But I'm starting to see, what's interesting is I'm starting to see a lot of companies put in their handbooks, like expectations as far as social media goes, like how like what their employees, if their employees are gonna connect with customers on social media platforms, what the companies are expecting.
Oh,
as
sure.
Far as etiquette,
sure.
not etiquette, as far as ethics go, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it is serious.
It is serious. It is. And you have to remember too, back in the day when people used to when we first started sending emails, and people would get all upset about an email because it's not a conversation. It's just a flat sentence or paragraph. And kind of the same thing, people are misunderstood when they're replying, when they're doing things. So, I just try to only say things like congratulations, and I'm so happy to hear this, or here's the bunny in my yard, or I mean, I love the connection that it gives me with everyone, and I can see that it does take its toll, and sometimes I post and then go back. I don't share it. I just nah. But you are your environment that you create. So if you allow yourself to get down that rabbit hole of negativity and things like that, then that's what is going to be attracted to you. That's what you're going to attract, and it's what you're going to notice. And so I do make a conscious effort to avoid all of that as much as I can. And so my contribution is to only put out, factual information that's helpful. I try to avoid all controversy. I'm not here for the fight. And good, peaceful, restful things that people, when they lay their eyes on that sunset, I'm in some great photography groups. I don't take pictures, but I definitely share theirs. And I mean, some people, have reached out to me over the years because I always share, the sunsets and the sunrises, and they're like, that was the only piece I got the whole day. And so it does make a difference. What you put out represents you, and it affects other people. So just, is that what you want to, is that what you want to represent yourself?
I love that. Only post on social media what you would say to every customer that comes in door. That is perfect. I think I need it too. So I tend to post pretty positive, but I definitely in the last couple of weeks have posted some of my, mainly we need to operate in kindness. We just need to remember that, we all have the rights to our opinion, but when we're hurting other people by saying them, like, we need to be better. Right? We need to be better for our children. Right. I don't have kids, but I have 6 nieces that, that are super diverse. I've got 2 nieces that are very dark chocolate skin. I've got one that's, dirty blonde and light eyes. And then I've got one that's got white skin and pink tones and curly hair and blonde. They all look different. But at the core, we're all the same. They're mine, and I just, I think about the world that we're creating, even with social media and just in this world. And the one thing that it always goes back to is kindness and compassion, and just kind of remembering what my mom said. And I think that's, again, it's probably why I'm so connected to you as a person, even though we haven't spent a lot of time together. But when I'm around you, I feel connected to you because that's the vibe that you give all the time. It's not just on social media. It's not just to make sure that your customers don't see it. I mean, it is all the time. I mean, you're just kind. And that, again, you know, to me, if the day I go be with the Lord, the only thing that people said was that she was kind, I would have served my purpose. And I kind of feel like that's you.
Exactly.
And there is a piece about you. When it's genuine, it's obvious. So it's very obvious. So so there is a hashtag that you are very well known for using, and it is hashtag kindness is the new cool. And you've been using this forever. I mean, this is for a while. Since I've known you, at least, you've been using it. Where did that come from? Did you just
well, you know, I didn't make it up. I just, when I got involved with the buddy bench idea, I think actually it was my colleague Jamie Barkley. He was all so supportive of me doing that, and the buddy bench thing. And I think that when I put my first post out, he hashtagged it "kind is the new cool." And so, and there's, I mean, if you search up "kind is the new cool," there's, I mean, tons of stuff, especially on Instagram. But I loved it, and I started using it, and I started mixing it in with all of my posts, even for my business. You know, I use, like, you know, okay, so some really good hashtags that I used is building strong communities. People love that. Okay, building strong communities, get connected. That's a really good one. People love get connected. Of course, one of my favorites is my Daytona Regional Chamber. But you know, when you find something that is a part of you, I think it's good to kind of, even in a silliness of a hashtag, it kind of brands, it kind of goes with your brand, you know. So throw it in there. Throw that "kind is the new cool" in there, and just see how it works with your, you know, with what you're doing. Maybe think about using it. Oh, maybe that's it. Think about, does this hashtag about kindness match what I'm getting ready to post? See?
So we have our Fast Signs Cares program. So this year I told all my staff, I'm like, anytime we post any community stuff that we do, anything that's positive, I really want to put Fast Signs Cares, because that's my heart, right? That's not I'm saying every Fast Signs franchisee is the same, but that's my heart. That's, so I want, when I hope, right? And it's actually one of the characteristics that I hire around. So I have characteristics of the people I want to be a part of my team, and one of them is kindness.
Right.
And you know, I mean, that's down. That's from the top all the way down. And well, we're all equals, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
It's just, that's everything that we do. We want around that, because we care. We want to be people that care and that are kind. So. If you had to say that there's someone that's played a big impact in that for you, was it younger, or was it with your daughter's situation? Like, where do you get it from?
Gosh, I guess my parents. I mean, is where I really got most of that. I mean, my parents were just always so helpful, and you know, look for the helpers. That has always been something that has resonated in my life, and so my parents have always been that. And when I met my husband, one of the reasons that I knew after, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 dates that this was the guy for me, was because he when we were stopped at a stoplight, he jumped out of the car and went and helped somebody push their car out that was broke down. And he is, to this day, we're married 22 years this year. We were at Publix and a man had slipped in the parking lot. Several people were around him, but they were all women, and he was a larger man. And my husband just threw the car in park and just went over there to help him up, because, and without even thinking anything about it, he never has hesitated to do that. And so, I feel like blessed. I feel like, when you have people that are kind. I have, another friend that stops traffic because there's a turtle in the road and calls the animal rescue bird lady because there's a bird that's got a weird thing happening with its wing or whatever. I have been so fortunate to surround myself with people that are like-minded or like-hearted. How about that? Like-hearted.
That is a big thing.
Yeah. And when you're in the hair industry, the contact that you have with the client is so much more intimate than most every other profession. Even a doctor doesn't have the kind of intimacy with their patient that a stylist has with their client. I've had people tell me about marriage and divorce and happy things and tragedies, and all the while I'm touching them. I'm physically touching them. It's very intimate. People share things with you that they may not share with anybody else. And I don't know if, I know that happens to all hairdressers, but I don't know if all hairdressers handle that with the same amount of love and concern. I know that the hairstylists that I have worked with were like that. So again, blessed that I was in an environment. Could have worked in any type of hair salon, but the people that I worked with throughout 27 years of a career were people just like that had love and caring and nurturing. And people have said to us many times, very interesting, you have healing hands. I made them feel better just by touching them. Very interesting. But I just think that it's I just think that it comes from truly just wanting the best for everybody. A lot of people have a lot of stuff, good health, bad health, or a lot of money or no money, or, whatever it is. And I just want them to have their best life. So I don't know. And my parents taught me that. I don't know how I would have learned it.
Well, it radiates. And I got to meet your daughter at the tent at Bike Fest, right?
It was Biketoberfest.
Was it Biketoberfest or was it
Biketoberfest? It was We were on the other side of the. We were sitting on the side. Right. Yep.
Gosh, I can't believe that was like yesterday, because I feel like you and I have been connected longer than that. And I guess we have. It's just we sat down.
We just didn't have at that particular thing. That's where we really bonded. You kind of opened up about your personal life, and I let you into my personal life, and so it was more of a connection. But of course, we've known each other for a long time. But that was really that's why these things are so cool. That's why when we have a one-to-one, when we're in our RBC, or Regional Business Connectors group at the chamber, and we say to the other members, okay, let's pick our one-to-ones. I'm always reminding them, don't get together for coffee and pitch your business. Get together and find out where you went to school, what sports did you play, what makes you tick, are you a dog or a cat person? Get to know one another, because that's really, we know about each other's businesses. My goodness, we've got each other's cards. We go to each other's, we support one another that way. But the one-to-ones are so great to really get to know the other person. and so that's what, when we had the opportunity at Biketoberfest to sit there, we had I don't know, what, a 6-hour one-to-one. It was fun.
We did double shifts. I had nothing else to do, and it was raining, and I was like, of course I'll do it. But we had such a great time, and I'm a big person on building rapport. I have a friend that says, Carmen, you're the friend with a million friends. And my group is actually very tight, but I do like to connect with people. I think that's important. I feel like we all have a story to tell. And sometimes we don't even realize that a part of our story can connect with somebody else. We can change their life. We can change their journey. We can change their day. So I'm big. I'm an open book. You know this. I am an open book. I think that's important to be that way. I think it's important for us to look at people outside of a transaction, really. And I think sometimes, a lot of times when we do these one-on-ones, people want to talk about business and it feels very transactional. And not that I won't do business with someone like that. There may be a need for that, but for some reason, it's very easy if I connect with you the way that we've connected, that when I think of social media, I think of you. That's It's who I build rapport with. It's who I trust. I feel confident sending you over, where somebody else, I may know them in a more transactional way. And I may say, well, I know this person. I don't really know them. Where if I said, here's Daniela's card, I know her. It's just different. For me, it's different. Plus, I love connecting people. So like I've got a group of girlfriends that they all range from, I think, 28 to 60 some. And I've connected them all some way, somehow. Sometimes we all get into the same room. I love to connect people because I think it's so important. So again, because sometimes those people wouldn't be in the same room, but together they can be amazing.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So we're on 40 some minutes, so I don't want to keep you too long because I know your family is probably over there eager to have you back.
Anytime.
But I appreciate your time, and I'm so glad that we've connected through the chamber, outside of the chamber. I can really say that, we've said it works for both of us, for our business models. It's really done wonders for me in the last 3 years that I've been here, but also just giving me the opportunity to sit down and talk to someone like you for 6 hours or 3 hours or at a business after hours. So get involved. And I just challenge people. I'm going to put a challenge out. Reach out to someone that doesn't have the same views as you and just say something kind. Reach out, post something kind today, and just make someone feel better. So I just always encourage us to look past what we see on the outside, because sometimes the inside is just so much better. So I appreciate you so very much. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. And I can't wait to see you. And hopefully we're past this COVID-19 thing and I can hug you, because I'm a hugger.
Well, thanks so much for having me. It's been fun. And I agree with everything that you just said. So
I will trying to think of what's like the next thing that we have. I don't know what day it is. Next Tuesday. We digital. So
Thursday we have Zoom into Eggs and Issues.
Right.
That's our first Eggs and Issues on virtual platform. So, but if you visit DaytonaChamber.com and go to the chamber calendar, there's all kind of fun or all kind of information of things that are coming up. So
awesome. So I'm hoping that you and I end up in a room together on Tuesday.
I know, me too. That'll be fun.
I don't think we ended up last time. I'm trying to think. No, I don't think we did. So I'm hoping this time the organizer will figure out a way of putting us in the same room.
I think it's a random thing, but we'll see.
Well, I'm just going to hope that happens.
Okay.
All right, dear. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.